Get some pre-workout in now. Do a scoop of that. Got the Sour Patch here. And one scoop is going to give us 150 milligrams of caffeine. So we'll be good to go for our workout. And we're going to do some push today. And then most guys are concerned with external and internal rotation as limiting factors for their ability to like hit an incline chest or a decline chest. So for example, if I can't internally rotate, what I'm going to want to do for a decline is I'm going to want to arch myself to find that position. Or similarly, if I can't externally rotate enough, I'm going to try to arch myself to get comfortable on a bench. Whereas I would just want to get my shoulders set there, lock in my rib cage and be able to press. So we'll go through that. Sip this down. I'm sore from yesterday too. We did some back stuff. A couple of different movements because I haven't done that particular row, the low row. I usually use the Panada one. And the rack pulls on the Smith machine, I don't do those very often, but I can feel my erectors lit up today. So that's kind of nice to have a different change of where you feel sore. More upper back, erectors, and not as much lats, because I think we only did one pull down as opposed to like multiple. So no, I like that back workout. And yeah, one thing for sure, like you don't have to fit every single thing for your back into every back workout. For example, for your chest workout today, a lot of people are going to try to get a lot of fly movements and a lot of presses. I think it's probably better to focus on the presses and then have the flies just as like either a warm-up or a finisher. At least that's the way I approach it. I think a lot of people put emphasis on the fly motion to build their chest, but I think that if you put more effort into your presses and more volume into presses, over time you're going to get a better developed chest. Like the Arnold adage of doing the bench press, right? So as long as you can bench press for your chest, you're going to be able to get it to grow. So what we'll do today, just run through an incline and a decline, because I feel like those are more difficult for people to understand, like an incline bench, decline bench to get upper lower pec, a flat press, and then one, maybe two flies, and then that'll be more than enough for chest. So let's get warmed up and then we'll go from there. All right, so one of the best things you can do for shoulder mobility is actually doing a pec minor dip. So pec minor dip, you know, this is like throwback to John Meadows, because he used to do a lot of this stuff and it really works. So I use this assisted dip machine here because I find that with this one here, what I can do is I can turn my elbows out so they're facing away from each other, as opposed to pinching my elbows back. I don't want to pinch my elbows back. I want to keep them totally facing out. And so from there, what I'm thinking about is my shoulders coming up and in, and then I'm trying to push them down and out. And then the other thing that I'm going to try to think about here, that it's a really good cue for me, is thinking about, instead of shoulders, scapular motion. So I can start moving my shoulders in front and behind. So just a different way to think about warming up your shoulders, but this is one really, really good way of doing it. So this isn't about getting maximum range. This is about contracting, warming up my pecs. Forget about the handles. Focus on my elbows. The whole machine just moved. So that's one thing. So we got a cable pullover. We're gonna do a little superset here as an extension of our shoulder mobility / warm up. So a lot of people thinking a pullover is for my back, which technically it is, but I would consider it almost more of like, this is a protraction movement now. So we're gonna think about warming up chest, serratus, and lats, and shoulders. It's all gonna work together here. So what we're gonna do a little different, I'm gonna get on an angle like this so I can show you what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna think about bringing it across using a bit more of my pec. So now I'm on my right pec. I'm bringing it up and in, flex my chest to the top, flex across into my left pec. So I'm trying to use my right arm here to drive it across, up and in together, flexing both upper pec. Now right arm sweep across. So a little quicker, it's just from one side to the other. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is move it more with getting my shoulder over top of my chest. If you can see that, I'm trying to like cover my shoulder, cover my chest with my shoulder. Almost like trying to cave in, but then flex together. So thinking about if I was doing a fly here, if I was doing a fly motion, right, I would be pushing across one way, pushing across the other way. So it's the same idea. I'm just, instead of pushing straight across this way, I'm pushing on this angle. Now I'm pushing on this angle. So this is like a decline crossover. And you can get the same idea if I grab these. The only thing is now this is gonna take my arm really far away. So it's gonna be more of a handle moving, more so than a shoulder moving. So just the differentiating between moving a handle versus moving a shoulder, or for our chest, moving the upper arm off the rib cage, around the rib cage. That's gonna be another level of development you can get in your chest. Okay, so 3 sets of each, the dip machine and this to warm up our shoulders. And then from there, we can actually go right into our chest, our heavy chest stuff. So we're nice and warm. We're gonna move on to incline dumbbell press. I got this set on a low incline. Just find that it feels a little bit better. And then I'm gonna show you guys #1 secret to really getting that upper chest shelf. I already got a good pump going, so definitely a good warm up. Shoulders feel good. A lot of people, they get a lot of neck, upper back stiffness because they're always so focused on shoulders down and back. So everything's like really tight traps. But I also want to have that ability to like move my shoulders forward, protract, retract. Like we talked about that before, but on chest, a lot of guys are missing out on that because they think that their shoulders have to be pinned back on everything, but that's not always the case. So we'll warm up here, pyramid up, and we'll see what we can work with for some heavy weight today. Always start lighter than you think you should. There's no rush. You're gonna get there anyways. So first thing I do when I'm getting into position is I'm trying to not overarch my back, right? Because if I'm overarching my back like this, I'm essentially turning this now into flat press. So if I press these up, it's coming through more still the midline of my chest, and I got this huge arch here that's not really allowing me to get a lot of stability because I don't have as much contact with the bench. Now if I were to just take my abs, crunch them a little bit, just to push my lower back and spine through the bench, now from here, I can actually come up through that clavicle, upper chest, and I can follow my bicep, elbow out wide, upper abs engage, and it's more of an elbow out wide, clavicles out wide, to elbows in, clavicles in, follow that line of the bicep, more so than it is like up and down with these dumbbells. So same deal, we just pyramid up, 6 to 10 reps. Don't go to failure, but trying to get a really good connection. So each increase in weight, I increase my stability. This can be the feeler set before the work set. Never skip out on the hard shit. Lock it in. Okay. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So it felt pretty good, so I'll just leave it there, rest, and then we're going in on some heavy ones. Cool. Okay. Okay. Let's work. Yep. Okay. Easy. Yeah, easy 8. And then the whole thing was I didn't want to go right to failure because I want to keep my form perfect, catch my breath, and be able to essentially increase weight next week and save a little bit of energy for the rest of the workout. Felt hard though. Good. Felt good though. So we can move on. We'll go to decline. I love this decline press. It's a nice converging decline press. So what I see most people doing wrong on a decline, first of all, setting it up for yourself. I want to set it up so that I'm almost in this position here where my elbow is above the bar, as opposed to having my elbow in line with the bar. Reason being is because this is a decline press, so the handles are going this way. And so I want to keep my elbow in line with that. Instead of, again, I'm going to have to arch my back. My elbows are going to feel like they're really far back here, but I'm going to be unable to kind of have this internal rotation unless I can, again, push myself through the back pad better. So what I like to do is set myself up here is use my feet, use my legs to shove myself through, use my abs, so I'm not lifting my chest up. I want to think about my chest staying forward instead of up. So it requires me to still use my abs here. And then what I'm going to think about is this is going to be my deep position here with my elbows up. And then from there, I'm thinking about having those biceps, elbows come towards each other, okay? So I'm staying internally rotated. I'm thinking also, what I can think about is trying to shove myself up out of it, as opposed to shoving myself back like this. Think about shoving myself up this way, which is a little bit more true to the decline. So for you guys that have a hard time feeling your chest, try this. Holding one side as hard as I can with my chest. So I'm not just trying to push the handle, because I can do this and have no contraction on my chest, or I can try to bring my elbow and my upper arm through it. Now I'm going to hold one side, switch off, hold the other side, alternating, using my abs. And it's not about how far back can I get my elbows, it's how far wide can I get my elbows, how far in can I get my elbows. Out, in. Oh, now we're feeling it. When I do go to my heavier set, I'm still gonna start with the alternating, do as many as I can. When I feel like my triceps are starting to get fatigued, go right into 2, and then just burn it out from there. I find that works really well. It's kind of like a mechanical drop set, if you will. So I'm using a more difficult technique right out the gate, switching to something a little bit easier, kind of like a drop set. You could still do a drop set. You could continue that if you wanted to. But this way, I'm still maintaining the heavy weight. And because we're not going to do a back off set, we're just going to do heavy weight. So, okay. And the heavier it gets, man, more you got to lock it in. Use your core, use your legs. Okay, yep, easy now. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's pretty hard. Oh, there we go. So we got a lot of that upper chest already because we're starting up there. Now we're coming down here. Once we're done with this, we'll finish off in the middle, flies, other kinds of presses maybe, or dips. But I feel like the bread and butter here, incline presses, whether it's a barbell or a dumbbell. Reason why I like that over a decline barbell or dumbbell, because those are really awkward. But machine declines, you got the hammer strength ones, you got the plate loaded and pin loaded hammer strength. So your gym probably has one of those. Maybe you got one of these. There's other nice pieces. If you don't, a lot of my clients don't have a decline at all. What you can do is you can get a flat bench and you can put a plate underneath the front of it, give yourself a little bit of a decline. And you could do your presses there. Like we did a slight incline, you're gonna do a slight decline. Other machines, they might have more decline or less decline. And so if you have different machines, same thing with incline, some are steeper, some are less steep. This one here, one arm versus the other. Finding the machine, finding the equipment, or the setup with the equipment that you have is gonna be crucial. Rather than just saying, well, I don't have it, can't do it. Well, you're missing out on your decline. So again, even if you didn't have a decline bench, there's a way to still hit that motion. All those other things we worked on, the dips, that's still the same motion. So working on this stuff, because again, you want this mass, right? Like you want that stuff. So you're gonna have to start moving your shoulders, pec minor stuff, starts to make sense. So why don't we do one more here, just a straight set, 8 to 10 reps. And then from there we can go to this fly here. Whew. Oh yeah, another easy 8. Felt good. So yeah, not like no partials, nothing crazy. Good reps. Thinking about, trained yesterday hard, trained today, legs tomorrow with Eric. So gotta pace ourselves, trying to get more weight, quality reps, less volume, so I can still recover. So one of the biggest issues guys have, too much volume. Whether it's too many exercises or too many sets. Just do one really hard set or max 2. So if you guys are doing 3, just pull it back a little bit. You'll get stronger. You will get bigger as well. And then if you want to, increase volume in the next phase to maybe break yourself through a plateau if you're switching to a cut. But if you're focusing on mass, focusing on strength, you got to control your volume. Higher intensity, less volume. And then that way you can recover and get stronger each week. So just like we talked about, sometimes guys get too carried away. It's like, I got to get my reps and I got to get my sets. But what if you just clear your mind and focus on how your muscles feel when you're contracting them? So I'm not really counting reps when I'm doing the 8 sets, the 8 reps per set. I'm not counting the rep. I'm feeling the tension. And I know that if I went for the 9th or 10th rep, my cadence, my tempo, my form would change a little bit. And I want to keep that power. So you'll start to notice that during your presses, when you start to hit failure, you slow down. You get into the grind. That grind, it's good once in a while to push yourself. But what that grind is really doing is it's also grinding down your nervous system. So if you have a spotter, have them finish that rep with you. And if you don't have a spotter, keep 1 rep in reserve. Push yourself to that limit and then know when to back off so that you don't have to change your form. You don't have to grind through a rep that's not optimal. And again, guys, pace yourselves. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So we're gonna move on to our seated cable fly here. This one's really good. This machine in particular, because it's all set up for you. But a lot of you guys, you bring your bench to the cable stack and set it up this way, it's cool too. But what I wanna show you guys is, well, the most important thing here is that you're setting up with your elbow, your shoulder, nice and lined up with where the rack is. So see, if I was to have the cable set up here, I wouldn't want to bring my elbows down here and try to press like this. I kind of want to keep my elbows a little bit more out wide so that as I'm coming through, that cable just stays in line with my elbow, with my arm, like mostly with my upper arm and elbow more than anything. So I don't know if you can see that, but if I'm tucking my elbows in, or what a lot of guys do is they try to really open up really wide like this and then bring it back from there. So they're really trying to open up really wide like this, right? So this is getting a lot of stretch for sure, but I have no control of my abs here. But if I could just take this, bring my abs in, now I'm getting the same amount of stretch, but I'm not opening up my rib cage as much. So now from here, I can actually use my legs and shove my back through the back pad. Now as I'm pushing the handles towards each other, I'm also going back through the pad, but I'm not lifting my chest off the pad. That's the most important thing, is I'm just keeping my chest forward, letting my elbows bend. From here, now I want to think about my biceps coming through. Forget about the handles coming together, because I can easily just bring the handles together like this and not do a lot of work. But I want to let my hands relax, forget about where the handles are going, use my abs, use my legs, come across. So again, this isn't something that I need to keep my shoulders, I don't need to keep them pinched back. I can let my shoulders move. It's okay if they come across. As long as I'm not rounding forward, I'm keeping my back completely, whole spine through the pad. Show you guys the secret. This is a vein set. We're gonna get maximum blood flow and veins popping out of the chest. Really just start with full range. And then right into partials. I'm gonna hold the breath a little bit. Almost there. And if you almost pass out, you're doing it right.
Your skin turns red as blood.
Good pump. So get a good set here on the flies. Again, like going heavy on this is not a priority. Prefer to go heavy on my presses and lighter on my flies. But here, feels awesome to do partials, just feel contraction, more of that stretch portion where the real growth, the breakdown of that muscle tissue is. Can't even speak properly anymore. All the blood's in my chest right now, which is a good thing. And I think we can just kind of from here, we could pick anything and it would be a good kind of finisher. So it's gonna be a toss up between maybe one more press or an assisted dip. But we've covered all of our bases already. Fly, incline, decline, and then the last one is just gonna be the cherry on top. Super pumped on that chest. On a most muscular, a lot of guys if they do their crab most muscular, a lot of guys end up doing this and they just make themselves smaller. So what I like to do is if I'm doing my most muscular, I try to flex my chest first without moving my shoulders more than my hands. So a lot of guys, they're gonna go like this. My hands come in and then flex my chest. I'm gonna try to flex my chest with my shoulders and then my hands just end up here. So it's just kind of like connecting, like can I get my chest to move first before my hands, or do I get my hands to move and then find my chest? Because that's gonna also work into your exercises, building a mind muscle connection, like flexing one side without moving my arm too much and flexing my other side. Again, without having to go like all the way in. I flex. And then even if I'm doing an overhand hand, what's this one even called? Hands clasped. Hands clasped, most muscular. I'm gonna think about not bringing my shoulders back to do it, but thinking about bringing my shoulders over the top of it and then bringing my arms not into my belly, but just a little bit in front, because I want everything to carry over in front. Kind of like when we were doing the pullover, it's like I'm pulling over, so I'm trying to get my shoulders to come over my chest. Another thing that I like to practice is with the hands clasped, I'll push my hands together, and a lot of guys understand this, but they don't think, now can I try to bring my shoulders up and in, and then can I try to bring my shoulders down and around, like we just at the beginning of the workout started with. So I'm just flexing my upper chest like I'm trying to get up in here, and then I'm trying to get down here. So like, can I flex the whole chest upper to lower? So I'm just trying to build connection to fibers, all those fibers, so we can get on stage and have everything. We don't want to have pieces of my chest missing. I think a lot of guys, they miss down here, or what a lot of guys end up having is this line that doesn't fill up when they flex down here. And that's, again, it's a lot of just coming over the top. So this is kind of the last movement we're gonna do like that. And I'm gonna do a dip. I'm gonna let my shoulders come up and around to get a full range. So you're gonna see here, come over to the dip, okay? I'm gonna try to turn around in it. So what I'm thinking about here is I'm thinking, okay, my chin's gonna stay up. I'm gonna let my shoulders come up around my ears, and then I'm gonna keep my abs tight. And then from there, I'm gonna try to shove my hands forward. Doing it backwards feels good. Yeah. And what I'm trying to do is get deep stretch, big shoulder movement, and then out of the bottom, flex to the top. We got one more set here, and I think we'll finish it here with one more set of dips and a fig. Dips and figs. So abs engaged. Yeah. One more. Oh. Ooh, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, so even on this one, I'm thinking about, like on this side here, shove it in with my shoulder. A lot of guys are unable to get full contraction there. But I'm thinking my hands and my shoulders, shove, shove. And it should be pretty easy to find that stuff, like I said, doing this, once you got a pump. But, I mean, I think we got a pump. I think we got the pump. So what do we think? I think that was a good chest day. We've leaked out everything and replenished with figs. But what else is going on, guys? We're working hard, man. We're working, coming 25 weeks for the Toronto Pro is gonna be a really good one. And right now, like I mentioned, we're in that health phase. So that's why I'm enjoying bringing you guys through my workouts, kind of showing you guys how I transition from a really, really heavy off season into my contest prep. And right now, this morning, waking up at 3:03, which is definitely the heaviest and leanest I've been in an off season. So you guys saw, like, transitioning into the off season from my last show, I went up in weight really quickly just from eating a lot of food. And then I added in anabolics, and particularly like decas and EQs that tend to hold more water for me, which I'm able to kind of like have that like balloon up effect, which is good because I'm able to push my weight up. So I was able to get to 300 pounds and over 300 pounds relatively quickly and relatively easily. About 6,000 calories now for the past like 3 or 4 months. And now I'm able to clean up my diet, maintain that 300 pounds morning weight, but just slowly getting leaner. So I'm even like when I'm waking up in the morning, I'm able to like see more obliques and stuff like that. And even though I'm not nowhere near stage lean, I'm leaner at the same weight. So I know my body is getting closer to where it needs to be, which is gonna be around that 270 pound mark with the Strand strong conditioning like you guys have always seen me do. And I think that's all it's gonna take to win, guys. So that's where my focus is just being as clean as I can, getting ahead of the game, ahead of the competition by starting my prep mentality earlier. Because I know it's gonna be a big year and everybody's gonna be coming for this Toronto Pro. So I'm gonna show up ready And I want to say that I appreciate you guys following along. All your comments, all the support means a lot. Motivates me to keep doing these videos. And it's fun too, because not only for you guys, but as I explain to myself my own process, it helps me be more comfortable and have that mentality that I know what I'm doing for myself. If I can help you guys too, that's great, but you know, this is my journey, so whatever I do, it's all for me. I just want to share it with you guys because you might be able to pick up a piece or two and apply it to yourselves, and if you do, that's awesome. But whatever you guys do, own it, give it 100%, and just keep going, because you never know where your journey is going to take you. One thing for sure, if you give up, you'll never see the result, but if you don't give up, you'll just keep getting better. So for today, we'll leave it at that. We'll see you guys in the next one. Love you guys. Make sure stay healthy, because as you know, healthy people build more muscle.